My name's Leopolito, and this is my Unit 1 science project on Newtonian physics. My first example is Newton's first law of motion. An object at rest will stay at rest, and an object in motion will stay in motion unless force is acted upon the object. In this example, the ball is staying still because there is no force being acted upon it. However, if I were to push the ball, it would give it the force of acceleration and it would begin to move. My second example is Newton's second law of motion. This law states that an object's acceleration is directly proportional to the net force acting on it and inversely proportional to its mass, meaning a greater force produces greater acceleration and a greater mass produces less acceleration. What's about to happen now is demonstrating how the force of impact depends on the mass and speed of these two vehicles involved. A faster or more massive car will experience a greater change in momentum during the crash. My third example is Newton's third law of motion. This law states that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. This means that if one object exerts a force on a second object, the second object simultaneously exerts a force of equal magnitude in opposite direction back on the first object. For this example, it will show how two objects colliding with each other give each other the same equal force and magnitude back on each object. My fourth example is the law of conservation of energy. This law states that energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transferred or transformed from one form to another, while the total amount of energy in an isolated system remains constant over time. This example is transferring potential to kinetic energy, however, it will not reach back to its original potential energy and will only go about halfway. This is because energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transformed or transferred, so the potential energy is transferring into kinetic energy. My fifth and final example is the law of conservation of momentum. This law states that the total momentum of a closed system remains constant over time, providing no external forces act on the system. This example shows two vehicles. One is staying still and the other one is colliding into the other one. The car on the right gains the momentum of the car on the left, and the car on the left has no more momentum. This concludes my project on Newtonian physics.